43. Very few people make it to this point in the journey. And if you're seeing this, it means you've already activated, even without realizing it, the secret key of the observer effect. What once seemed like just a scientific theory now reveals itself as the most sacred practice in your daily life. You weren't drawn here by chance, but because you're already ready to experience reality bending before your very presence. Maybe you've already felt it in subtle signs, thinking of someone and suddenly getting a call, dreaming of a situation and seeing it happen days later, or simply feeling like you were being prepared for something greater, even without evidence. These moments weren't coincidences, they were your energy field responding to your focus. The universe works like an infinite mirror. Wherever you place your attention, you collapse possibilities into reality. This is the mystery of the observer effect. Consciousness doesn't just watch life, it actively shapes scenarios and outcomes. Every thought is a beam of light illuminating a specific path in the quantum fabric. Now pause and reflect. How many times have you been stuck in situations that seem to repeat endlessly? Problems, patterns, scarcity. That wasn't bad luck. It was proof that your gaze was fixed on a frequency that kept generating more of the same. What you observe with emotion multiplies. Think of your attention as a quantum spotlight. Whatever is under that light gains strength, grows, expands. If you keep your focus on lack, you illuminate more lack. If you dwell on fear, fear expands. But if you shift the spotlight to abundance and trust, something extraordinary happens. Reality reorganizes, and this is where many stumble. They believe they'll only have reason to vibrate high when something changes on the outside. But science and spirituality have already proven otherwise. The change begins inside, in the vibration you choose now, and the universe responds as an inevitable reflection. The question is, what frequency have you been feeding without realizing it? Because even the silence of the mind is observation. Even involuntary worry is creation. Your body functions like a biological antenna, and everything you feel sends signals to the field. The universe doesn't understand words, it understands vibration. If you felt that certain phases of your life seemed like a quantum quarantine, don't blame yourself. Those moments of isolation weren't rejection, but preparation. The universe removes noise from around you so you can adjust your focus and discover the power that was always within. And the more intense the emotion you place on something, the faster that thing manifests. Emotion is like a quantum magnifying glass that amplifies the energy of what is observed. That's why fears manifest so strongly, and also why gratitude attracts miracles. Both are powerful lenses, but it's up to you to choose which one to use. Now take a deep breath and ask yourself, where is my spotlight pointed right now? On problems or solutions? On lack or abundance? This simple question can change your destiny, because reality responds immediately to the direction of your attention. This is the power few understand. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are an active participant in the quantum field. Even when you doubt, even when you fear, you are creating. And that means the control was never lost, only dormant. Feel how that brings relief. Because if you were the one who unknowingly created the repetitive cycles, you're also the one who can now deprogram and reprogram the subconscious mind. And that happens when you decide to observe what you truly want, with elevated vibration and trust in the universe. This video is not just information, it's activation. As you hear each word, you're already realigning your inner antenna. Your vibrational frequency is beginning to rise, and this will cause new synchronicities to appear today as confirmations of the observer effect in action. But before we continue, allow me one heartfelt request. If this content has brought clarity to you, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and share it with those you love. Every time you do, it's not just support for the channel, it's a vibrational pact that strengthens this network of awakened consciousness. And now, let's go deeper. Because it's not enough to know that you observe and create. You must understand how every detail of your daily life is already living proof of this effect, and how to use it consciously to attract abundance. Have you ever felt that reality isn't as solid as it seems? As if, in certain moments, it responded directly to your gaze? Maybe you intensely thought of someone, and they appeared in your life minutes later. Or you strongly wished for something, and a sign appeared confirming the path. These experiences are not illusions. They are direct manifestations of the observer effect. Quantum physics has already shown that particles exist in multiple possibilities until they are observed. But what almost no one told you is that this principle isn't limited to laboratories. It operates in every second of your life. What you choose to see with emotional intensity becomes more real than any other possibility. Imagine your attention like a radio. If you tune into fear, you attract situations that confirm that fear. If you turn the dial to love, the universe responds with experiences of love. It's not magic, it's vibrational resonance. Your energy field can only receive what matches the frequency you're transmitting. And this explains why your dreams aren't just random images. They function as a training field where you practice the observer effect in a safe space. There, your mind experiments with possibilities, creates scenarios, tests timelines. It's as if the universe gives you rehearsals before the main show. Even animals and technology respond to your field. Who hasn't seen a dog reacting to a person's energy before any movement? Who hasn't noticed devices acting strangely during moments of tension or excitement? The invisible always finds ways to reveal itself. The secret is to see these signs as confirmations, not coincidences. Each synchronicity is the universe saying, look, you are observing and collapsing realities. Doubt only arises when you forget that you are the creator. But with each remembrance, the power returns. And here, I want to open something personal. There was a time when I lived trapped in cycles of scarcity, anxiety, and painful repetition. I observed my problems daily, fed them with fear, and described them in every conversation. Without realizing it, I was multiplying them. And each day seemed to confirm my failure. Only when I understood the observer effect did I realize I wasn't unlucky, I was creating. The spotlight of my attention was illuminating what I feared most, and reality was responding faithfully. That discovery broke me, but it also freed me. Because if I was creating my own hell, I could also create my paradise. And in that instant, I chose to shift my focus. I started small, giving thanks for little things, observing solutions instead of problems, breathing and imagining the future as if it were already real. And slowly, reality began to bend. New people appeared, opportunities opened, signs multiplied. That was my living proof that the observer effect is not theory. It's practice, it's life, it's everyday experience. And if it worked for me, it works for you. Because the law is universal. The field doesn't play favorites. It responds to frequency. Now think about your own experiences. How many times have you lived something that seemed impossible, but came exactly when you believed the most? How many times has the universe responded in perfect synchronicity to your heart? Those memories are confirmation that you already know how to observe. The next step is to choose to do it consciously. Because if you continue observing lack, you'll have more lack. But if you decide now to observe abundance, love, and trust, those realities will bend before your presence. It's simple, but it requires consistency. Because the world around you will try to pull your gaze toward noise, news, and distractions. Your training is to remain the guardian of the spotlight, turning it only toward what you wish to expand. And that's when the real leap happens. When you hold the vibration of your future self without giving in to the external noise, the universe has no choice. It bends. Because reality is malleable, but your consciousness is sovereign. In the next part, I'll show you how science and Spirituality explains this phenomenon in complementary ways. Because it's not enough to feel, your mind also needs to understand, so that you never again doubt the power that's already in your hands. Quantum physics has discovered something mystics have always known. Reality is not fixed, but an ocean of probabilities. Particles only take form when they are observed. This is the famous observer effect. But what almost no one realizes is that the same process happens with your thoughts and emotions every day. Science shows that attention functions like energy. Neural focus strengthens connections in the brain, while intense emotions release neurotransmitters that mark experiences. What you repeat in attention and emotion becomes internal programming. You literally train your subconscious mind to reproduce that reality. Spirituality describes this with different words. Where your gaze is, there's your creation. It's the principle of the law of attraction, quantum manifestation, elevated vibration. These aren't loose beliefs. They're poetic translations of the same phenomenon science describes in laboratories. Think of your mind as a quantum spotlight. What you illuminate grows. What you ignore fades. That's why certain situations seem to repeat, because you keep shining light on the same frequency, even without realizing it. The subconscious mind never rests. It keeps projecting the last observed image. Now imagine the power this takes. And when you add emotion, emotion is like a quantum magnifying glass. It amplifies the power of focus a millionfold. If you observe with fear, you create dense realities. If you observe with gratitude, you create light realities. The universe responds not to what you say, but to what you feel. And here lies the beauty. You don't need complex formulas, but conscious practice. Science calls this neuroplasticity. Spirituality calls it timeline jumping. Both are saying the same thing. You can reprogram your mind and shift your vibrational identity. Dreams are another fascinating piece of evidence. Studies show the brain reacts to dream experiences as if they were real. Spiritually, we understand that dreams are a training ground where we practice possibilities before bringing them into the physical plane. Every prophetic dream is a reminder of the observer effect in action. Even technology confirms this. How many times have you seen devices malfunction in tense moments, or work better when you're light and joyful? The energy field interacts with matter in subtle yet real ways. The ancients called it personal magnetism. Today we call it bioelectromagnetism. Notice how science and spirituality don't clash. They complement each other. One explains the mechanics. The other gives meaning. And when you unite the two, you create clarity and confidence. You don't just believe, you understand. And understanding dissolves doubt, making room for conscious manifestation. All of this converges into a single message. You are far more powerful than you imagine. Not because you manipulate reality, but because you collapse realities at every moment, whether you're aware of it or not. The difference is that now you can do it intentionally. So start observing consciously. Ask yourself, what am I illuminating with my quantum spotlight today? Because the answer to that question is a faithful reflection of what will manifest tomorrow. And don't blame yourself for not doing this before. The truth is, even your mistakes were rehearsals. Every painful repetition was unconscious training. For the awakening you're experiencing now, the observer effect isn't new, it's eternal. But each generation discovers new ways to understand it. And you're here because your soul chose to learn how to use it consciously in this life. Now, it's time to experience this in your body. Because knowing is not enough, you have to feel. Next, I'll guide you through a simple but powerful exercise that will let you experience the observer effect in real time. Close your eyes for a moment. Inhale deeply, as if bringing light into your chest. Hold for a moment, then exhale slowly, as if releasing all old weight. This conscious breathing is the first step in realigning your vibrational frequency. Now, choose a desire. It doesn't matter how big. It could be financial abundance, a loving relationship, vibrant health. Just choose something that represents your future self. Allow that image to appear in your mind as if it were already happening. See the colors, the details, feel the textures. The more real it seems, the more the brain believes it's already living it. And remember, the subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between real and imagined when emotion is added. So allow yourself to feel it as if it's now. Activate gratitude within, not for what's to come, but for what already is. The heart, in a state of gratitude, emits a magnetic field that can be measured. Science calls it heart coherence. Spirituality calls it elevated vibration. Both confirm you're broadcasting abundance to the universe. In this state, imagine your attention as a quantum spotlight focused on that scene. The more you focus, the more it solidifies. The more you feel, the closer it comes. You are literally collapsing this reality right now. If thoughts of doubt arise, don't fight them. Simply return to the breath and silently repeat, I choose to observe abundance. That phrase is like a password. It reprograms your subconscious mind and redirects your vibrational frequency. Notice the sensations in your body, maybe warmth, chills, or lightness. These are energetic responses. They show that your old identity is dissolving and your new identity is beginning to vibrate. And see how simple it is. A few minutes of breath and presence already shift the state of your body and mind. If you repeat this exercise daily, you'll be training your mind like a muscle. Your new identity will become natural. That's why we created the Quantum Journal Bundle, a 33-day practical journey with journals, reflections, and exercises designed to support this exact process. It acts as a daily guide to structure your energetic routine, elevate your vibrational frequency, and strengthen your new internal programming. The link is in the description. You can start your activation today. Now return inward. Keep breathing, feeling, observing. You are proving through your body what science describes and what spirituality has always known. Your conscious observation is already creating. Imagine each inhale pulling the future in and each exhale dissolving the past. You don't need to chase your future self. It's already moving toward you. Your only task is to stay in the vibration. That's the secret. Not to force, but to allow. Not to doubt, but to trust. The universe responds to the observer who remains. And as you open your eyes, remember, the reality you see is still a reflection of past observations. But what you've just done has already started shaping what's coming. Feel the power of having collapsed a new timeline. Because that's exactly what just happened. In the next part, we'll expand this understanding even further, showing how your vibration not only affects your personal life, but also influences the collective field. Have you ever noticed how some people change the energy of a room just by walking in? It doesn't matter whether they speak, their energy is felt. This happens because the heart's magnetic field extends several feet beyond the body. What you vibrate spreads naturally. When you practice the observer effect, you don't just change your life, you influence those around you. Because every elevated thought and emotion creates waves that ripple through the collective field. You're like a stone thrown into a lake. The ripples never stop expanding, and this carries deep meaning. Your future self isn't just interested in your individual growth, but in how your vibration becomes a beacon for others. When you shift your identity, you unconsciously inspire everyone your life touches. Science calls this resonance. Spirituality calls it emanating light. Both describe the same thing. Your presence creates coherence in the collective field. You don't have to convince anyone. Just vibrate in the frequency of love, abundance, and trust. That's the beauty of identity transformation. It's never just yours. It's always collective. When you choose to be a conscious observer, you become part of an invisible network of awakened minds. This silent, powerful network is changing the world in subtle waves. and see how this connects to the archetype of the hero. The hero doesn't awaken just to save themselves, but to open the way for others. Your awakening is also an invitation, a calling for others to remember they too can create. So never underestimate the impact of your vibration. A simple state of gratitude in your heart can inspire peace in someone who catches your eye. A high frequency can transform an entire room. You're already part of this movement, even if you don't realize it. Gradually, humanity is beginning to understand that it is not separate, but united in the same field. Each awakened observer strengthens collective consciousness. And every time you choose to vibrate higher, you contribute to the evolution of the whole. So know that your practice is not selfish, it's sacred. Because by changing your reality, you help change the world's reality. The observer effect is both personal and cosmic. This is the calling, to live so consciously that even the silence of your presence becomes a prayer. Even your breath becomes a code. Even your existence becomes an activation. And understand, this doesn't require perfection, just consistency. It's not about never feeling fear, it's about not getting lost in it. It's about always choosing to return to the quantum spotlight of abundance. This way, your life becomes living testimony. You stop talking about the observer effect and become its proof. And that is the greatest contribution you can make to the world. In the next part, we'll walk toward the final revelation, how to fully embody the role of conscious observer and live as a sovereign co-creator of your reality and of collective consciousness. You made it here because something inside you already knew. The power doesn't lie in what happens outside, but in how you choose to observe within. The conscious observer method isn't a passing technique, it's a shift in vibrational identity. It's living each moment as if the future is already happening. Think of an artist who doesn't wait for the canvas to be complete to feel like a creator. They already feel like a painter from the very first stroke. So too with you. You don't wait for the manifestation to feel abundant, loving, confident. You choose to feel it now, and that vibration becomes the brush painting your reality. Science confirms it. When the brain imagines with emotion, it activates the same circuits as a real experience. The body starts living before the outer event. The energy field receives the vibrational command and attracts matching circumstances. You don't wish you already are. And here lies the heart of the method, 3 sacred movements. First, feel, not as expectation, but as certainty. Second, sustain, remain in that vibration even when the external evidence hasn't arrived. Third, release, surrender the how and when to the universe, trusting it's already done. This cycle is like the breath of the cosmos. Inhale is feeling, retain is sustaining, exhale is releasing. The entire universe breathes this way, and you can align with this rhythm now. Close your eyes, inhale abundance, hold gratitude, exhale fear. This is the method, alive in your body. Spirituality has always known this. Ancient texts say, ask as if you have already received, and be in the world what you wish to see. These phrases weren't vague advice, they were encoded quantum keys. Modern physics has only found new words for the same phenomenon. Each time you practice this state, your subconscious mind receives a new internal program. It's like upgrading the operating system of your being. You stop running on the old code of scarcity and begin operating on the software of abundance. And don't worry about setbacks. Even masters have had days of shadow. The secret isn't never falling, it's always returning. The quantum field doesn't demand perfection, it asks for consistency. Each time you return to focus, you strengthen the new identity. Think of your vibration like a radio frequency. At first, there may be static interference, but the more you tune in, the clearer the signal becomes, until one day, the noise disappears, and the music of your future self plays effortlessly in your life. That's the point when the timeline shift happens. It's not a magical explosion, it's an inevitable transition. You wake up and realize you no longer think as before, no longer feel as before, no longer react as before. Your old identity has dissolved because you stopped feeding it energy, and you'll see the reflection of this in the world. People start noticing something different in your presence. Situations flow more smoothly. Favorable surprises become the norm. You're not getting lucky, you're living in vibrational coherence. The universe simply reflects what you are. This method is too simple for some to believe, and precisely for that reason, so powerful. Because the mind complicates, but the heart knows. The heart always vibrated before thought. And when you let it lead, your frequency rises naturally. Now, do this with me. Place your hand on your chest, take a deep breath, and mentally say, I choose to be the conscious observer of my reality. Stay in that state for a few seconds. Feel the vibration of this phrase expand through your body, like waves moving through every cell. This is the energetic seal of the method. Not empty words, but a signature in the quantum field. By declaring it, you activate not just your mind, but your entire being. The universe has already received the command. And from this moment on, all that's left is to live as if it already is, because you already are. Very few reach this point. And if you're here, it's because the universe has chosen you as one of the guardians of the new consciousness. You're not just learning, you're being called to live as a conscious observer, radiating light beyond yourself. Imagine humanity as an immense mosaic of frequencies. Each person is a vibrational piece. When one piece shifts, the whole pattern changes. Your choice to vibrate high is not small. It's part of the cosmic design being revealed right now. The collective field feels your presence. Each elevated thought is like a flame lit in the dark. Each conscious breath is like a bell ringing in the distance, reminding others they too can awaken. You don't vibrate alone, you vibrate with the whole. And here's the beauty. You don't need to convince anyone. You don't need to force anything. Just be. The coherence of your heart creates resonance in everyone who crosses your path. Your elevated vibration becomes a silent invitation for others to remember who they are. The entire universe awaits this moment, the moment when awakened observers take their place. Not as distant masters, but as ordinary humans who choose to live extraordinarily. You are one of them. Now, close your eyes for a moment and see your life as a blank canvas. Imagine that each glance you take is a brushstroke. What are you going to paint? What reality do you want to observe? Because the canvas is waiting for no one but you. Feel the calling. Don't abandon yourself. Decide to live each day as your future self already lives. Radiate love, abundance, and trust. This is the greatest service you can offer the world. And to seal this sacred moment, I invite you to a public pact. Write the word observer in the comments. Not just as engagement, but as a cosmic declaration. It's your vibrational commitment to live as a conscious creator from now on. And if this message touched your soul, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and share it with those you love. This isn't just supporting this space. It's strengthening the network of awakened consciousness shaping the collective future. Because every comment, every subscription, every share is more than a digital act. It's a ripple in the quantum field, an echo that reverberates and inspires others to awaken. You are part of this greater movement. Never forget, the future is not far. It already exists in multiple versions. And you, by observing with clarity, decide which timeline manifests. The universe bows to your gaze. You're not here by chance. You were called. And this calling will echo in every breath, every gesture, every decision you make from this point forward. Walk the world as a beacon. Radiate your frequency like one who lights torches in sleeping hearts. You are already living proof of the observer effect. The activation is complete. Now simply radiate.